Okay, so a whistleblower came out to talk about the the bullshit that's going on in Gaza. I cannot play the video of the whistleblower. Specifically about this ridiculous Gaza food distribution system. Doctors Without Borders calls for the food distribution system to be dismantled. This was on NPR. NPR's Lila Fadel spoke with an emergency coordinator with Doctors Without Borders in Gaza, who explains why his organization is calling for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation aid distribution system to be dismantled. They say that he says that the group calls it, quote, a slaughter masquerading as humanitarian aid. Aitor, I can't pronounce his last name, I won't even try, is one of the group's emergency coordinators. He says what used to be 400 aid sites run by independent aid groups has been cut down to 4, run by GHF. As we heard, that's an entity backed by the US and a plan backed by Israel. So the US and Israel, who are responsible for the catastrophes that have befallen the Gazans, are now the ones that are going to be distributing aid. And they've cut 400 down to 4. Do you think that that sounds right? Because it doesn't. It doesn't sound right, and it's not right. So this emergency coordinator goes on, he says, they look like football fields, surrounded by mounds. So the people, his vernacular is off, but I'm going to quote him exactly. So the people is being forced through a street, which is already an area considered a combat zone by the Israeli forces. They're forced through that, and then in a moment, they open the doors. They allow anybody who is able to, who is quicker than the others, to grab whatever they can, and then they force the people out in less than, half an hour or something like that. What happens is when people is approaching the distribution sites, and they're not going through the correct, street that is designated, they get shot. When they're inside and they're overloading, so the mounds or the barbed wire, or they're too close to the IDF forces, they get shot. And if they stay longer or they arrive later to the distribution, they get shot too. And the interviewer says, and they're being shot by Israeli military? And they said they have been shot by the Israeli military and by whoever is managing those distribution points. She says, well, now the Israeli government is denying that the military is purposely shooting at civilians. So if you could say exactly how you know this is happening and if those denials ring true to you. And they say, it's very simple to deny that. They could allow international journalists in, which is not the case. And we know that because we have very close by primary health care center who had been completely overloaded day after day after day after day with wounded people and dead people coming from that place, and everybody telling the same story. Everybody saying, we went there, we went for food. This is a lot of people. Everybody fighting for the food, everybody fighting for the boxes, and then getting shot at any moment. So that's why we know. And the interviewer said, well, I'll just underscore that the entirety of this war, international journalists have not been allowed inside. NPR has a producer inside, but we've had no international journalists go in. So if Palestinians in Gaza do manage to survive the crowds, I've seen the pictures of thousands upon thousands of people trying to get through. What kind of food do they take away? What aid do they get? Well, they get a box of 20 kilos with basic commodities. How is pasta, rice, oil, etc. But consider that they need to walk for kilometers. So normally only the youngest of the families or the youngest peoples, they are able to go there. So this 44-pound box, if they're lucky enough to get it, and if they survive the crowds, what discussions is Doctors Without Borders having with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the Israeli government, the Israeli military, the US, about your demand that these sites be dismantled and not be controlled by a warring party? Well, no, we have not been able to talk to them directly, but we are asking publicly to stop, these so-called aid mechanisms, because it's an abomination. You call Gaza Humanitarian Foundation on those 4 sites that distribute food and aid an abomination. Can you say why? Why? It's very clear. Because humanitarian aid is designed to save the lives of people and not to kill people. And the carnages that they're happening once again and again and again and again in such places cannot be And they're not humanitarian aid. They're a political scheme and a military scheme. And I doubt that they're trying to win the minds and the hearts of the Palestinians. So this carnage needs to stop. And of course, an immediate ceasefire is needed in Gaza, and adequate aid should be let in. And they say, doctors with Borders Emergency Coordinator in Gaza, thank you for speaking with us. Now, that was from NPR. I had to print a lot of this stuff out so that I could keep up with it. I've seen them. I've seen them. They let some contractors go in there to raise the ground, and they're given guns and they're allowed to shoot at Palestinians. I am not lying. I wish that I were lying. I wish I were just making that up. I'm not. Oh boy, I think you got one. Oh boy, I think you got one. I heard that. I am still traumatized just from hearing that. Oh boy, I think you got one. Like, what the fuck are we doing over there? Every day that goes by, every fucking day that goes by, the suffering that's happening. And the GHF, which is just bullshit, 400 aid centers to 4? And then they're just killing more and more people every time they open it up. They'll get, like the guy on Twitter said, we shot 100 people yesterday, and not even a blip in the media. So that means as long as we keep it around 100, I guess we're good, or 100 or less. If you don't believe me, go to Twitter and look this stuff up. I'm not fucking lying. I wish I were. These are real IDF soldiers on Twitter bragging. There's videos too. If you want to get brave, you want to go that far. I don't see how anybody that calls themselves a red-blooded fucking American, a proud American, a proud patriot, can stand by while our government, the assholes in the Oval Office that are allegedly representing all of us, although he's not even pretending to do that. Our government, doesn't matter if you're MAGA, you're left, right, blue, red, doesn't fucking matter. Our government is helping Israel and Netanyahu erase an entire people. The people, their history, just erase it. Because their lives would be easier if they weren't there. So Trump can build the fucking Riviera of the goddamn Mediterranean. I'm serious. This is reached such a fucking peak. It's gone way past disaster, okay? It was at a disaster peak like last year. I mean, it is just misery and suffering at this point for these people that are still alive. They can only send their youngest and their strongest to go get food. So when they're done killing the youngest and the strongest, all I have is the old sick people to worry about, right? These fucking people. Netanyahu is a war criminal.